Hey there, folks. Thanks for checking us out on BTN.com. It's the Next Level crew, the big fella John Jansen, the guru Russ, Lande, and Brandon M. Williams, the ultimate driving machine, alongside Rick Pizzo. Check us out every Tuesday on BTN. But for now, fellas, let's take a look at a weekly segment we like to run. It's Russ's Draft Board. Each week, we give the viewers the top 10 draft-eligible Big Ten players in Russ's mind. And there's a new number one this week in Davon Still and a couple new arrivals on this list. And Mike Adams and A.J. Jenkins, we'll touch on them in a minute. But Russ, conspicuous by his absence, Nebraska's D tackle Jarrett Crick, who at one point in this year, not too long ago, was number one on your board. What's gone wrong?
Well, I think what's gone wrong for Jarrett Crick is this is a guy with immense physical gifts. He's a tall kid, he's athletic, he has very long arms, knows how to rush the passer, but this year you haven't seen production. What you've seen is a guy who ends up chicken fighting at the line of scrimmage too often and doesn't play aggressively and therefore hasn't made many plays.
Didn't miss one game with concussion-like syndromes, has seemed banged up, just hasn't seemed to be himself. Levante David playing terrific on that defense, but right now seemingly do it all by himself since Alfonso Dennard not completely healthy either. John, I mentioned two new arrivals. Why don't you start with Mike Adams, who just came back to the lineup for Ohio State?
Yeah, and it is about time we saw two offensive tackles on there. But Mike Adams had a 5-game layoff with the suspension that he had following the whole tattoo scandal. And the nice thing I like to see about Mike Adams is the fact that he was able to maintain, first of all, his body weight. That's a long time to be let off. And he came in and played solid, played good technique. He did a good job of coming in and just, playing the offensive line position. GMs are going to look at that and say, there's going to be times in his career where he's going to be hurt, he's going to be laid off. How can he handle that? Can he still study? Can he still keep up with the offense? He proved he can do that.
Yeah, and a guy that I'm really falling in love with has to be A.J. Jenkins. He's a guy who has shown that his ability can translate well. I think he'll be a guy who fits into the slot. He has 815 yards and 7 touchdowns already. 6 games. That's production.
Oh, big time.
He's on pace for 1,700 yards. I mean, those are laughable numbers, but he truly could get those numbers. He's a guy who's been very explosive. He catches the football with his hands, and he does all those little things, and I think he'll be a special kid this year.
Illinois has not played the best defensive backfields over the past 2 weeks, but still, the numbers are silly. A Big Ten record 450 receiving yards to go along with 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games for A.J. Jenkins.
Crazy.
Yeah, downright silly. Pretty much the only way you can describe those receiver numbers. For John, Russ, and Brandon, I'm Rick. Check out The Next Level every Tuesday on BTN.